I picked up this shirt at Costco for $3, and this shirt cost $80. Does paying more than 20 times as much actually get you a better shirt, or is the Costco shirt here a better buy? Let's find out. Today we're comparing two shirts that couldn't be more different. On this side we have the 32-degree cool t-shirt from Costco. I picked these up in a 3-pack for $9.99, which worked out to be roughly $3 per shirt. At that price, they're pretty much disposable. On the other side here, we have the Wool&Prince Signature 160 tee. Depending on the color and when you buy it, it's around $80. So the real question is this $80 t-shirt actually worth buying when you can get a shirt that costs as much as 2 Costco hot dog and drink combos? In order to properly compare these shirts and their price points, we have to understand that the material composition of these shirts are very different. The 32 degrees cool tee from Costco is 90% polyester, 10% spandex, and the Wool&Prince Signature 160 tee is 78% merino wool, 22% nylon, and this is 160 GSM. And just so we're clear, before we get deeper into the comparison, this video is not sponsored by Costco, 32 degrees, or Wool&Prince. I bought these shirts with my own money, and I'm simply a happy customer of all these companies, sharing what I've learned after wearing both of these shirts for years. Before everybody assumes that I'm just going to say that the expensive shirt wins, let's give Costco some credit here, because honestly, this shirt is ridiculously good for the money. It's lightweight, it's stretchy, it dries quickly, it's comfortable, and maybe my favorite thing about this shirt is I don't care what happens to it. If I'm mowing the lawn, changing the oil, helping someone move, painting, working in the garage, or doing anything where there's a decent chance that I'm going to ruin this shirt, this is what I'm going to be wearing. If I stain it, rip it, or somehow completely destroy it, I can replace this shirt for about the price of 2 Costco hot dogs. And that is actually really freeing. But after wearing these shirts for a couple of years, I kept running into the same problem: odor resistance. In my experience, this is basically a 1-day or less than 1-day shirt. You wear it today, throw it in the wash tonight, repeat tomorrow, and that's completely fine. That's exactly what it's designed to do. But once I started traveling more, and especially having to travel with just one backpack, this became a limitation. And this is where merino wool starts to make sense. It's also why people are willing to spend a lot more money for a shirt. Merino isn't just a fabric, it solves a completely different problem. First, it's naturally odor resistant, which means you can wear it for multiple days, air it out overnight, and wear it again without it smelling like a synthetic athletic shirt. Second, it's excellent at regulating temperature. Merino's natural fiber structure traps insulating air when it's cool, breathes well when it's warm, and manages moisture before the fabric ever feels damp. The result is that it's comfortable across a much wider range of temperatures than most synthetic shirts. And third, the big one here, it lets you pack dramatically less. If you've watched my channel for a while, you know that that's my kind of thing. Pack less, wash less, and spend more time enjoying your trip instead of worrying about laundry. One of the main reasons I started buying merino wasn't because I wanted a luxury t-shirt, it was because I wanted to travel lighter. When I traveled to Japan for 2 weeks, I typically bring 3 merino shirts. That's it. I rotate them throughout the trip, hang one up overnight, wear another the next day. I don't spend time in the hotel fighting with other guests over limited laundry machines. I don't need to pack 10 or 12 shirts. 3 shirts have comfortably gotten me through many 2-week trips. Even in Okinawa, where it's hot, humid, and you're walking around all day, they've performed incredibly well. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I traveled to Hokkaido in the winter and I wore a merino long sleeve Henley as my primary base layer underneath my parka. It kept me warm outside, comfortable indoors, and handled those constant temperature swings incredibly well. So yes, you can say that I'm really a believer in what merino can do. Now, if all of this sounds a lot like marketing, Wool&Prince is so confident in their merino's odor resistance that they created something called the 100-day challenge. The idea is exactly what it sounds like. People wear the same merino shirt for 100 consecutive days while documenting the experience. Now, there are eligibility requirements, documentation guidelines, and specific rules that have to be followed. So if you're interested, definitely read through the official challenge on their website. Whether you'd actually want to do this is another story, but it does show how confident they are in the fabric. There's one more detail that matters with this particular Wool&Prince shirt. It's not 100% merino wool. It uses a 78% merino wool, 22% nylon blend. And for me, that's actually an advantage. Before buying this shirt, I owned several 100% merino shirts from different brands. They were comfortable, they regulated the temperature very well, and they had excellent odor resistance, but they did not last as long as I wanted them to. If you know me, you know that I travel with backpacks. I carry everything with me, I like to move fast and light, and those backpack straps create friction across the shoulders. With several of my 100% merino shirts, I began seeing thinning, wear, and eventually small holes in the areas where my backpack straps rubbed against the fabric. That was really frustrating to me because these were not inexpensive shirts. The nylon in the Signature 160 is added to strengthen the fabric, reduce pilling, and help it resist wear and shrinkage. After wearing it for years, I can say that this blend has held up significantly better for me than other merino shirts. More importantly, I haven't noticed a meaningful difference between the Merino Blend shirt and my previous 100% merino shirts when it comes to odor resistance and temperature regulation. So for my use, the extra durability is worth more than having a shirt made of 100% merino. When you compare both shirts, you can tell the difference in color. There's a much more rich, deeper dye from the Wool&Prince shirts that are dyed in Korea than these synthetic 32-degree cool shirts here. So you are getting more features and better quality out of the Wool&Prince shirts overall, but again, you are paying for it. So which one should you actually buy? If you're looking for an everyday beat 'em up shirt, something to wear to the gym, wear around the house, work outside, mow the lawn, or do anything where your shirt might get destroyed, honestly, the Costco shirt is an incredible value. And for around $3, it's very hard to complain about it. But if you travel often, you like one-bag travel, you hate packing extra clothes, you want to do less laundry, or you just want one shirt that works almost anywhere, that's where I think the Wool&Prince really earns its price. Here's what surprised me the most. I don't think these shirts actually need to compete. They solve two completely different problems for me. If I'm working in the yard, I'm grabbing the Costco shirt. If I'm flying across the country with one backpack, I'm taking the Wool&Prince. The expensive shirt doesn't necessarily replace the cheap one in how I use them, but it does replace 5 of the other shirts in my backpack. And honestly, that's why I still wear both. I hope you found this informative. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you a team 32-degree cool shirt? Or are you a Wool&Prince buy once, cry once shirt? Or are you in a camp more in the middle where you would have both shirts, the Wool&Prince for your travel needs and the 32-degree shirts for your everyday use? Thank you for watching. And if you like content like this, feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.